Now, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is very honor and pleasure that all of you are here. Some is on our way, and Mr. M.J. Khan and campaign of Mr. Khan and myself, very, very honored to receive you over here. We have some from our party's leadership, and I would like to call their name so they can come on the podium, and then we start our program. First, I would like to call Mr. Bill Fraser. Mr. Fraser, first stage is yours. I would like to call Don Elliott, SD Chair number 13. Number 2 position, ma'am. And then I would like to call my chairman of my vacancy committee, Mr. Russ Long. Please, Mr. Russ. Then I would like to call Mr. Nayyar Asfar, Sayyid Nayyar Asfar. He's our very prominent attorney in our community, actually in US, and he's one of the number 1 attorney, Mr. Nayyar Asfar. Now, and the last, I will call the star of the evening, afternoon, my dear good friend, Republican gentleman, Mr. M.J. Khan, for the mayor. Thank you, everyone. And as you know, as a Republican or patriotic American, we have our protocol to do, like first we pray to God, then we go to our national anthem, and then we have our pledge. So I would like to do the honor. Where's the guy? Oh, I have my nephew over here, Hasnan Pirzada. He will have the honor to recite prayer. Mr. Hasnan Pirzada, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute honor and a pleasure to be here and a part of a successful campaign for Mr. M.J. Khan. And real quick, I just wanted to say a couple of words of prayer. Before I do that, can you hear me now?
No.
All right. So before we do the prayer, I just wanted to say a quick, translation I've come across, and I think it really means a lot when it comes to this campaign, and it directly translates as I quote that, "Indeed, mankind is in loss, except for those who have believed and done righteous deeds and advised each other to truth and advised each other to patience." We ask our God to help us be on the right path throughout this campaign. We ask God to have a successful campaign for Mr. M.J. Khan. We ask our Lord to help us build a stronger bond with each other, help each other out through this campaign, to have a stronger finish for Mr. M.J. Khan. Once again, it's an absolute honor and a privilege to be here. We ask our Lord to help us in any way to help Mr. M.J. Khan to have a successful campaign. I thank you all for being here. Thank you very much.
Amen.
Yes, turn.
Ladies and gentlemen, could please rise for the national anthem. pledge to our flag, US flag and Texas flag. For that, I would like to request my chairman of Vacancy Committee, Harris County Republican Party, Mr. Russ Long, please. Can you have the honor to do the pledge? Do you want to be led over here?
Yeah, this is good. Thank you. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, now the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to, sorry, I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. I knew I was going to screw that.
Some of our precinct chair will be if they have some comment and they want to do something about Mr. M.J. Khan, feel free to just give me their name and we have a minute to do that. Format is like this, we're going to start this thing from Mr. Bill Fraser. Sir, Mr. Bill, please. We're going to start from him. He's going to say something about M.J. Khan, and then we go further, a couple more speaker, and then we have to the Mr. Khan will become and answer a question. Feel free to ask whatever you like. Mr. Bill Fraser. Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure for me to be here tonight, and I really appreciate being invited to speak. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bill Fraser, and I'm a Republican precinct chair for Precinct 274. But I go back in the Republican Party a number of years. I ran for city controller back in 2013, and I was it was the first time I'd ever run for office, and it was a city-wide race, and that was 2013. I ran against Ron Green. He was the incumbent, and I was the only opponent for him, and I got the endorsement of the Harris County Republican Party. Okay. They want me to talk.
Now it's better.
Anyway, yeah, that is better. I ran against Ron Green and I lost by about 4,000 votes, so it was very disappointing citywide race. Well, I ran again in 2015, and in that time, Ron Green was term limited, so we ran against Chris Brown, who was Ron Green's first lieutenant, and I had 5 opponents. I had Chris Brown, and MJ was one of my opponents, so we had 2 Republicans in the race that year. And I got to know MJ pretty well. I got to know all of the candidates pretty well. And so MJ was really the only other candidate, including Chris Brown, who knew. I mean, me and MJ, we knew actually what was going on in the city. And the city was bankrupt. I can remember going out trying to raise money for people back then and having people, when I told them that the city was bankrupt, they'd get angry with me. They'd say, we're the 4th largest city, 3rd largest city in the country. How could we be bankrupt? And when I explained to them what was going on, they hated it. But anyway, I got in the runoff, and MJ endorsed me, and I really appreciate it. I was honored to get his endorsement. Well, I lost that race by about 4,000 votes. But there were, even though I won in the primary, in the runoff, there were 54,000 voters in the runoff that did not vote. I mean, there were 54,000 voters in the primary that didn't show up for the runoff. So that was out of about 240,000 voters. So you can imagine how discouraging it was for me to have all these conservative voters stay at home and not come out for the runoff. So in 2009, MJ ran for city controller another time, and he got in a runoff against Ron Green back in 2009. And so MJ lost that race by 2,050 votes, okay? 2,050 votes, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But so we're here tonight to talk about MJ Khan and support him. We're here to support him as a friend, a man who has shown tremendous leadership throughout his time here in the U.S. and before that. He's a successful businessman. He supported his community. He has a wonderful family. and he's a highly respected former city council member and someone who has a heartfelt concern for the city of Houston. And not only that, MJ has displayed the courage to run for mayor right now, and it really takes a lot of courage to step out and step in front of all these people and to do the kind of work that you need to do. But over the past 3 months that I've been working with MJ on this, I found out that he is determined that he's going to win. He is a determined and dedicated candidate. So how is he going to win? Well, I've analyzed the last 2 mayor races, the last 3 city controller races. These are citywide races, and the Democratic primary in 2022 and the general election in November of last year. And I see the same pattern over and over and over again. And let me tell you what I see. Turnout is generally low comparatively in the city races. We will have somewhere between 24% and 28% turnout. That's pretty low. We'll get 240,000 to 280,000 voters turnout. Strong Democrats and strong Republicans do vote very, very well. You'll see a lot of people that vote in both primaries all the time. They will come out for this race. But we'll also have a lot of really good independents that will participate. And right now, in my opinion, and what I've seen in the past 2 or 3 years, most independents are conservative, and they're going to turn out for this race. So the majority of the candidates in this race are Democrats. We've got 6 candidates, 6 viable candidates. 5 of them are Democrats. And so you've got some strong Democrats running in the race, but generally 1 or 2 Democrats will take a lot of the votes, but there's going to be a runoff, okay? Because all these Democrats are running and they're going to spend a lot of money and they're going to attack each other, and there's going to be a runoff. So, but in 2019, Sylvester Turner ran against Busby and Bill King. There were only 241,000 voters that time, and Turner got 46%, and Busby got 69,000 votes and got into a runoff. He only got 28%, but he didn't need 28% to get into the runoff. He only needed 21%, because if he'd gotten 21%, he still would have beaten Bill King by a pretty healthy margin. In 2015, the year that he ran against Bill King, there was a huge turnout, 266,000 votes, so 30,000 more voters that year. And the reason was because the bathroom bill was on the ballot. Do y'all remember that? Yeah. And so now what we have is we sort of have today, there's not a bathroom bill on the ballot, but there really is, because every Democrat candidate on there was for that bathroom bill, and they've been pressing that issue ever since. So you know that there's going to be a lot of conservatives that are tired of all the wokeism and tired of all the social liberalism that's going on in this country right now, and they're going to turn out to vote. So Busby did okay, but he lost in the runoff primarily because he wasn't attacking. He didn't run in the primary against Sylvester Turner. He was running against Bill King. Okay, and I don't know if y'all remember that, but he excoriated Bill King during the whole campaign. And so when it came time to the runoff, Bill King supporters stayed at home. So this time we're going to have a huge turnout, I predict. We're going to have, we've got 5 good candidates on the Democratic side who are going to spend a lot of money. Sheila Jackson Lee, she's going to spend some money. John Whitmire, he's got $10 million in his campaign account. Okay, he's going to spend a lot of money. Lee Kaplan's got $3 million. Robert Gallegos, I don't think he's got a lot of money, but he's going to run pretty hard. Gilbert Garcia, I believe, is a wealthy businessman. He's going to spend a lot of money. And then there's MJ Khan, and MJ, what MJ needs to do is to reach out to conservative voters and just say the things that appeal to the voters right now. And we know that that there's a clear path to getting the voters to come out, because there was a survey done by the University of Houston a few days ago, and that survey said that there were 83% of the respondents said the most important thing is crime. Well, who has set up this situation we have right now with crime? You know, it had been Republicans, it's been the Democrats. They're the ones who elected a district attorney that has faltered, lost files, done a lot of other things like that. You can talk to Julian about that. But not only that, they've got these judges that they elected, and these judges let people out of jail for free, okay? They give them a get out of jail card. And so none of these Democratic candidates have a viable or a very credible anti-crime platform. But MJ, in his first 100 days, one of his top priorities is to hire 500 police officers, get them on the streets, and we've got a way to pay for that, and also to help shore up things like the crime lab. And Julian will tell you about the crime lab. If there are, if somebody breaks into your house and commits burglary, and the police come, if they come at all, and they'll collect some evidence, guess how long it takes for that evidence to be ready for your trial? How long do you think it is? Anybody want to make a guess? How about 2 years? 2 years. 2 years, okay? And if it's an assault, it might be a year. And if it's a murder, it might be 6 months to a year. So everything gets bottled up. And so the plan to hire additional police officers is good, but MJ is going to fix the crime lab. He's going, and can you imagine a Democratic mayor standing up and campaigning for stronger judges? That's not going to happen. A Democratic mayor is going to stand shoulder to shoulder with every liberal judge on that bench next November when there's an election for new judges. And so it's incumbent on us to help MJ and help him win. MJ's got a great plan for his first 100 days. I think he's going to talk about it, but he's going to address the crime. He's going to address reducing flooding and fixing our streets. And that he's going to hire police officers. He's going to make a major shift in the flooding and drainage program. He's going to unlock the funds that are in that lockbox you keep hearing about, the drainage fee. Remember the drainage fee was going into a lockbox? Well, he's got a way to where we can unlock that and get that money out and make meaningful repairs. But we're all going to have to get together and help him win this election. We can't just let him do it on his own. He's got a great social media program going. He's going to be doing some advertising. He's out there campaigning really hard. But what we need to do as precinct chairs and as supporters is we need to help him with campaign contributions, and we need to start helping people or encouraging people to go out and vote. Okay, we got to get people to go out and vote. And what I want everybody in this room to do today is to think of 25 people that they know and contact them in the next few days and say, I'm putting you down on my list to make sure you go out and vote. And we've done some experiments in other elections where people, if you contact 25 people and say, I want you to vote in November and I want you to vote for MJ, and contact them now. And then when early voting starts, which is 2 weeks before Election Day, call them again or contact them either by phone, in person, or by email and say, I'm just letting you know that you're on my list again. I'm letting you know again, and I want you to make sure you go and vote, okay? And get your friends to vote. And then about halfway through early voting, contact them again and say, I hope you voted. I hope you voted early. If you didn't vote early, you got another week to go. And then after early voting's over, contact them again and say, if you didn't early vote, you need to go out and vote on Election Day. So you've got to, if you contact these people 5 to 7 times, they will go vote. And we can solve that problem with people not voting. So another thing that I want you to do is there's a little card in front of you, and they've got one of these QR codes on there, and that'll take you to MJ's website. On that website, there's a Get Involved section. Go to Get Involved and sign up for his campaign. Now, it's not on there. I'm going to ask him to add this a little bit later. But one of the things I want you to get involved in is to help MJ with his first 100-day plan. We need to start working on this now. We need to start going out and helping him plan for his first 100 days so that he can actually accomplish what he's going to. We need people to review the capital improvement plan. Help us come up with ideas on how we can improve that. That capital improvement plan is where we fix our streets and our drainage. We need to help review the Harris County flood projects. You know, and Harris County had a bond issue 2 years ago, and Lena Hidalgo, a lot of people don't understand this, is like $1.5 billion of flood programs, $1.5 billion. And almost all of those projects were redirected to other parts of town other than where there was flooding. She's redirected all that money, and we need to redirect that money back to where it was approved. We need to help look at the permitting department. If you know anything about permitting, we need to find out what's really going wrong so that MJ, when he's campaigning, he can have the maximum amount of information and know what needs to get done. So those are the things that I'd like for you to do right now. If you can donate money, great, we need your money. If you can donate time, if you can put a sign in your yard, if you can have an event at your home with your friends to get support out of MJ, then do that. And so together, working together, MJ Khan will be our next mayor. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Bill. You know what Bill did to me? Every single line I have in my mind, he got it. Now what I'm going to say, I really don't know. Only one thing, that he's the number guy. You know the number is not against us. If we all pull our efforts, MJ Khan will make history. And Republican will be proud of him. Yeah. This is us now, what to do, not MJ. Bill give you every single point, what to do and what not to do. So if anybody has a doubt in the mind that MJ cannot win, he's not right. Do your best, live up to him. In our party, in our way, we say, under one God who we trust, so trust him. Do your effort. Subject to condition, you do your effort. If you're not going to do your effort and just sit at home and say, okay, Republicans are not going to win. I don't remember the last Republican mayor was in city of Houston, at least 20, 25 years ago. Bill, how long ago was it?
1980.
1980. That's last Republican. And mostly city majority is conservative. Majorities agree, but they don't come to vote. Why? Because of hypocrisy. So I will request you again, I don't want to talk too much because I have a couple other gentlemen. They will come over there. I forgot to recognize, I didn't forget, but I want to recognize in our community two more very honorable gentlemen right here. One, Mr. Julian Ramirez, and he's going to be coming to you in a minute. And Mr. Kendall right there, he's going to be coming to you for a minute. And I have a very distinguished lady I just saw a while ago, Dr. Melinda. Where are you, doctor? Yeah, Dr. Melinda. She's our SD 13 secretary and chair and God knows whatever. She go to Austin and make a lot of noise and make a lot of article about the party situation and everything. So sometime I go through and sometime I don't. Dr. Melinda, thank you very much for coming. And I already introduced you my chairman of my vacancy committee, Mr. Russ Long, and very, very distinguished leader in our party and the community. Mr. Russ, please. Will you give me a hand, please? And then there is my boss sitting over there. Her name is Don Elliott, chairman of the SD 13. I would like to request to her, would you please come and give us an honor to our campaign, please?
Good afternoon. I appreciate everybody coming today, and I'm going to make my remarks very brief because you don't want to hear me speak. I know you're anxious to hear MJ speak and talk about his vision for the city of Houston. And we're really fortunate that we have such an esteemed Republican running in this race for mayor. The reality is this is not a Democrat city. This is very much a middle of the road, purple city that the Republicans have not been winning in races, and we need good candidates, and we as Republicans need to support our good candidates when they choose to run. And we're very fortunate to have MJ Khan running in this race. He's a man who knows city government, who has a passion for the city, has a great love for the city of Houston, and a great love for this country. And so I would like to reiterate some of the comments that Bill made a few minutes ago, which is that many hands make light work. MJ can't do this on his own. He needs our help. And so please plan to take back today, from today, the information you glean, take it back to your precincts, take it back to your parts of this community so you can share with others the vision that MJ has for this city. Plan on block walking, plan on sharing this information, because if you sit back, if we all sit back and we do nothing and we expect MJ can do it all on his own, that's a heavy lift for anybody, no matter how great a candidate they might be. MJ, how would, if somebody needs signs or push cards, how do they go about getting that?
mjcon.com.
Okay, mjcon.com. If you need push cards, signs, or any other materials going back into your precincts to spread the word about this absolutely excellent candidate. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about your vision for the city of Houston and how we can move forward and improve our city, because it's struggling these days. Thank you so much.
But no excuse that we cannot. All of us, we have that much power after looking the number. That's not impossible, tax. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request you, please do that. And anybody, we have some sign and all those things right now over here, want to take it, take it. Mr. Chishti is right there, and he can help you out. And now I would like to request one more. Now I would like to request Mr. Julian to let us know what he thinks, where's the money and where's the honey. Please come, Mr. Julian.
Thank you so much. Hi, hello everybody. I'm Kendall Baker, and I'm running for City Council at Large, position 1. I was currently elected by the great conservatives of Houston to serve on Houston ISD, the infamous school board that was taken over by the state. But Mr. MJ Khan and I go way back. I worked for the city for 30 years. And one of the things you got to know, not only do you need a conservative to go back and hold down that spot that Mike Knox has given up. By the way, Mike is my friend as well. But you need someone who has City of Houston experience. And many of you may remember my voice. Thank you for calling the 311 Houston Service Helpline. That was me. And so I am accustomed to helping thousands and thousands and thousands of citizens per day. People ask me, why am I running? Well, I am a public servant at heart. I love serving the people of Houston. And so MJ, I can see us now around that horseshoe, you as mayor, me as city council, making it happen. If you want someone that's ready, that's hot, that's been tried and tested, go back and look at the school board videos. You'll see I've been standing up for conservative values. I've been standing up against indoctrination. I've been standing up against wokeism in the schools. Even though we're outnumbered, been standing up. Tom Ramsey has endorsed me. Look, I'm here to support MJ. Look, we have to take our city back. Let's take our city back. We have a chance this November. So if you want somebody that's tried and tested and ready to go, that be me. Congratulations, MJ. Let me congratulate you in advance as being our next mayor. Mayor MJ Khan. Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kendall. Appreciate for your prayer and good wishes. I just got another candidate, a young lady is right here. Sorry, she got lost, I believe. Miss Maria, you have 1 minute. If you'd like to say something, please come on up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I apologize for being late. First off, I had a death in the family, so it could kind of just threw me off a little bit. But I want to introduce myself. My name is Marina Angelica Coriat. I'm running for Houston City Council at Large, position 2. And I come to you bringing greetings. I am running for this position. I'm called to run for this position, to be a voice for those who don't have a voice. And let me tell you, I have over 21 years of working with the city of Houston. But before that, let me just come back and let you know that I'm an immigrant from Trinidad. My mom and dad came here to the United States when I was 1 year old. My mom is of Indian descent, my father is mixed, and so I represent the multiculturalism that Houston has to offer. But not only am I just a global person, and I speak 3 different languages in addition to English, Spanish, Japanese, and Kiswahili, in addition to English, but I'm a person who has been raised to strive for a better way of life. I worked with the City of Houston for 21 years. I worked in the Mayor's Office, Housing and Solid Waste Management Department as the Public Information Manager and the Council Liaison, and as well as having served for a state representative. I'm here because I'm committed. Even on a day like today, I know that I will be committed to you despite the challenges that we have before us. But know that there are some things that we have to address in the city, like garbage collection and the delivery of city services that you pay taxes for. And so I will work very hard along with the mayor to make sure that we have efficient and safe and watch your tax dollars in regards to delivery of services, flooding and infrastructure, jobs. I served on the Greater Houston Partnership as a lifetime ambassador for the city of, lifetime member and an ambassador with the Greater Houston Partnership, and served with a number of other chambers. And so I'm here, one who has a breadth of experience serving nonprofit boards and being here today to represent you. I will be your voice, Marina Angelica Coriat, for Houston City Council at Large, Position 2. Marina Angelica Coriat for Houston City Council at Large, Position 2. And usually I'm really bubbly all over the place, so please just excuse me for just today, and know that I have your heart and I will take your concerns. I have no agenda but to serve the people. So thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. I have to run.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
leaving or you want to stay?
I'll have to run. I have to get to Clear Lake.
Okay. Thanks for coming
Thank
again.
you so-
I would like to invite Mr. M.J. Khan.
Good afternoon.
Good
I hope you all can hear me. I am between you and some very delicious food. So please bear with me. I have to remind you of one date, January 9th, 1976. That's the day I landed in America. I came from the front door as a student. I had a bag full of books, handful of clothes, and few dollars in my pocket because that's all my family could afford. And it was just 3 weeks after we got married. And I got married to a wonderful lady. Thank God for arranged marriages. I could not have done it on my own. But before, when we proposed to her, she had only one condition. And she said, I want to go to America for my medical education. Are you willing to go to America? I said, yes, that's what I'm trying to do. So we came here and we struggled. There were times where I could only afford 1 hamburger a day because I did not have money for 2. And then in 1980, we moved to Houston. My wife got a fellowship at Texas Heart. She is the first female cardiology fellow from there. She is an interventional cardiologist. I got into, worked with large corporations like Brown Root, Stone Webster, succeeded there. Then I went into my own business and I was blessed beyond my imagination. My son went to Second Baptist School. We had a wonderful time in Houston. Houston has been great to us. American society has been great to us. And with all due respect, I have to say that sometimes I feel that people who are here for generations, they don't appreciate America as much as they should. America is the greatest country in the world today, bar none. Okay? America is the one who is most welcoming nation in the world. America is leading in every facet of life, whether it is business, whether it's politics, whether it is humanitarian effort. America is the leader. And we need to appreciate that. We need to show our appreciation. So me and my family, we committed back when I became citizen in 1985 that, look, we are succeeding beyond our imagination. We have to dedicate our life to give back to the society. And that doesn't mean only through elected office. You can give back to the society every day with your, through your family, through non-profits, through just helping people. I remember in Ely, we used to plant trees when I was never even imagining I will run for city council, So That is my motivation, is to give back, because I've been blessed by this society, this country, and I think if I spend all my life serving you all, it will not be enough. Now, when I ran for city council, I was known as the conservative candidate at that time also, and the same, it's like a movie repeating itself again. Everybody said the same thing, like they're saying now, oh, he has no chance, MJ Khan has no chance, his opponent has too much money, he has too much, all these things. But what happened? We worked hard, and we had some of the, most dedicated group of people who were standing with me and working as volunteers, and we knocked on thousands of doors. I think I myself knocked about 4,000 plus doors in Southwest Houston, and we were blessed to get elected. And then 6 years I was the city council. My very first thing in the city council was propose zero-based budget for the departments. And it was adopted. And the department for those 6 years, they were producing zero-based budget. Then I proposed reducing property taxes every year I was on the council. And I think 5 of the 6 years we managed to reduce the property taxes. Now, I was not even thinking about this running for the mayor. Because I thought, man, there are so many good people out there. Last time Busby was there, Bill King was there. I said, But then I saw that really the candidates who were in the race are, 5 of the very good candidates. I respect all of them. I think they are very strong candidates. I don't take anybody lightly. Whitmire is very strong. Sheila Jackson Lee is very popular. Gilbert Garcia, Lee Kaplan, Mr. Gallegos, they are fine people. But I don't see any one of them have the plan, the vision, the experience, or the expertise which is needed in this city today. Just recently you saw that poll that more than half of the population, Houston, think that city is going down. And that is true. Our budget is $6.2 billion. Yet, we cannot fix our potholes. We have crime problem, like it's crazy to have that kind of crime problem in this city. Why is it happening? We have less number of police officers today than when I left the city council in 2009. None of these people are offering any solutions to these problems. And look, I tell my friends, and if you know me, you can talk to my friend, I say this all the time. I love you when you support me, but that's not the right reason. I don't want your support just because I'm your friend. I say this to handsome bald guys, don't support me because I'm just like you. Support me only after you know me, know my background, know my expertise, know my plan, know my vision, and if you find, which hopefully you will, that I am the best candidate for this position, then support me. Because then you will do with passion, and then you will tell thousands of other people to come and support me. That's what I need. Now look, I give you a couple of examples. I give you my background is in business, in private sector. I serve the city council, so I have the whole package. It is different from legislative experience, okay? Because the position of the mayor is the chief executive officer. It's a management position. And if you have people who do not have that kind of expertise, then it doesn't work. And they see what the result we have seen already. We have a large person, Sylvester Turner. I like him as a person. I think he has a great story. But he has legislative experiences. And look what's happening right now. So that's what I mean. Give you a couple of examples. My positions are very different than some of these other people running. Houston Chronicle, in their July 9th editorial, they quoted John Whitmire, is saying that I will lift the revenue cap for public safety. Now you know what revenue cap is. Citizens of Houston, you all told us we have to live within our means. We cannot raise our budget more than our population growth and inflation, right? He wants to lift that up and collect more money out of your pockets for public safety. My position is entirely different. I said, no, we should respect REF cap. I will not violate REF cap. I will not lift it up. I will stay within our means. and I will add 500 more officers right in the first year of my being in the office because the money is there. How do I know the money is there? Just simple, and you can, this is not something which I made up. This is something you guys can all calculate yourself, okay? When I left the city council in 2009, and now 2022 is the latest data we have, the population growth is about 44,000, 45,000, okay? About 1.992%, let's say. Inflation accounted for about 38.5% during that time. So all in all, about 40.5% is the increase in the inflation and population growth. You know how about our operating budget went up? Operating budget, which we used to spend all this, thing which we need to work, 93%. So there is additional 40%, so about $970 million, which is out there cities collecting and spending on things which are either wasteful or not needed, or the bureaucracy is eating it up. That is one of the biggest problem I see, inefficient bureaucracy in the city of Houston. We need to control that. I want to make sure that every department go through process engineering, go through all the audits we do in the private sector, process audit, performance audit, personnel audit, to make sure all these inefficiencies are extracted out and our city becomes lean and efficient. Same thing for the metro. Metro is wasting all your money. None of the other candidates, you will see them talking about it. Except I think one candidate talked about, I will say what he means by that. You see the metro line on Post Oak Road in Galleria? That's over a $300 million project. We were there, I think Bill was there with me, one morning just this last week. In the peak time, in the peak rush hour, we watched 6 buses, okay, in about 45 some odd minutes. 16 people rode on those buses. 16. 1-6. When they did that project, they had a consultant who told them over 15,000 people will be riding every day. And now only 744 people ride that. That's a $300 million total waste of your money. How can we stand for that? And how can Metro stand for that? And who appoints the 5 out of 9 positions on Metro board? It's the mayor of Houston through city council. Why are we not holding them accountable? And one candidate, Mr. Garcia, he said he was the chairman of the Metro at that time when this project was done. So how can he talk about bringing efficiency in the system when he had an opportunity to do something about it and did not do it? Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, I have to give my hats off to her. She has some talents I cannot compete with. I will be honest with you. She can go at middle of the night to a cemetery, give a great speech, chasing a camera. Next thing you know, those people are contributing to her campaign. Who can compete with that? And what I'm afraid of, that, or concerned about, that those cemetery people may come out and start voting for her on November 7th also. But you hear all her speeches. You will not find any solution to any of the city problems. She will talk about what is happening in the world and how federal government is going to come and rescue us and this and that. We can do things ourselves. Houston is a can-do city. We don't have to wait for federal government to come and help us or state government to come and help. We first have to do our part. And that's what I'm saying. My plan, which Bill mentioned to you, I will establish a $1 billion fund for water, streets repairs, and water and sewer projects without raising your taxes, because I know the money is there. Okay, and I hope that some of these candidates started challenging me on my position, because then I will tell them where the money is, which they have no clue about. The money is there in the city. We are collecting all these funds. We are just spending in the wrong places. Metro budget went up at about $200 million in the last couple of years. They're supposed to reimburse the city some money also. They're only giving what, $20 million? Okay. They need to, all that extra money they are collecting, they need to bring to the city. So don't tell me that out of the $6.2 billion budget, I cannot extract at least $100 million to give it to HPD to have 500 more officers. If anybody says that, that means they have no clue about management and they have no clue about finances. And don't just take my word for it. You talk to anybody who is in private business. You talk to that $6.2 billion, can you extract $100 million? They will say, yes, in a jiffy we will. So my point is, ladies and gentlemen, know about the candidates. Okay, democracy only works when the citizenry is informed. You have to really do your homework and then tell your friends and neighbors what candidate has the better plan for this city moving forward. So instead of now, when half of the population think that city is going down, we want next year 100% of the city will say that city is moving in the right direction, moving on up, and moving for the greater pasture, and will become a shining example for rest of the country how large cities must run with a fiscally conservative mayor in the office and a private sector management philosophy, a champion in the office. That's what we need. Now, of course, I don't understand when they don't find out anything against me, they will start attacking me on things which are really not that important to the mayor, not even the 100 top issues, because they cannot challenge me on my positions. And I'm really looking forward to some of these forums and debates where we lay out these plans and show the difference between us and them. Now people say, okay, what are your chances? Just the recent poll which came in head-to-head between me and Sheila Jackson-Lee, the poll said, and that's not me, the poll said that I am ahead of her. I'm 38%, she's at 37%. So I can beat, in an election, I can beat Sheila Jackson-Lee hands down also. We don't have to go with somebody who we think can only beat Sheila Jackson-Lee because of certain things. No, this is wrong. We have to stand on our principles. You think that any other candidate will fight, just like Bill said, will fight for the conservative judges in the next election? Do you think any of the other candidates will have the fiscal policies which I laid out in front of you? You think that any of the other candidate will do the things which we need to do by controlling this bureaucracy? We talk about fiscal deficit in the city. There is also an ethical deficit in the city. We saw that Chronicle report, it's not me, that all these pay-to-play contractors, they're lining up with some certain candidates, giving them huge amount of money and getting them elected. Why do they do that? I was there, I was in city council, I know how these things work. This pay-to-play is ruining our city more than anything else right now. Because they select their candidates, they give them money, and they get them elected, and then they get these juicy contracts. And when there is a problem, the crime is high, they advise the candidates, oh, just raise the taxes. Crime is bad, people are really frustrated, they will give you more money, and they get more contracts out of it. That is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. We need to really take control of the city. We need to put the city on the right track. We need to make sure that our tax dollars are working efficiently for us. We need to make sure that city bureaucracy is lean and efficient and working for us. We need to make sure that every person who is elected on the city council is working in the best interest of the citizen of Houston rather than cronyism, which we just saw. See how much, you look at the media reports, okay? The Chronicle is saying time and again, one of the things I would mention, if you don't remember, city director, our housing director, went in front of the city council and reported to the city council in an open meeting that a bad project is being pushed by the mayor to be funded instead of 4 good projects or 5 good projects. What happened to that guy? If I was the mayor, I would have praised that guy and made him the hero of the month. For him to have the courage to tell the citizens what is wrong, what's going on wrong. But what happened? He got fired that afternoon. And only when George P. Bush, our GLO person from Austin, when he threatened to start an investigation, then mayor backed out, and then the proper projects got funded. So those cronyism is going on for too long, and I think that's what's hurting the city. That's why we see the morale of the police department is so low right now, because one, we don't give them resources, we don't give them manpower. Then when they arrest somebody, we put them in jail. Next thing you know, the next 2 days later, 3 days later, they're out on the streets again, committing the more heinous crimes. What does that do to the morale of the department? And it's not just the police department. There are a lot of good folks working. The 21,000 colleagues, I call them, we have in the city working for the city. A lot of these are very good people, expert and efficient and hardworking people. What happened when they see a lot of people just being the deadwood, so to speak, and not pulling their load, their morale goes down also. So my friends, it's all up to you. If you really, look, I mean, I have 4 grandkids and a beautiful wife and loving kids. I don't need this. My ego gets satisfied every home all the time by the 4 grandkids I have. I don't need this. I was a city council, and you know, my friends will tell you. You know who never showed up in the city council, my office? My family and my closest friend never set foot in my office in the city hall, because I want to keep that wall very strong, and we never want to violate that. For me, it is the most important thing that when we are elected in the public office, that we truly act like a public servant. What does that mean? You are the public, we are your servant, we have to do what is good for you, and we have to make sure that I will run this city with the highest ethical standards. I will be more accessible to you and reach out to you rather than those special interest groups. I will pick your brains to find out how to work some of the issues we are facing. We need to invest in infrastructure, we need to take care of the crime, we need to take care of this out of control budget, waste of taxpayers' money. We need to control all that and really make the city of Houston the best city in the country. May God bless you, may God bless America. I'll be more than happy to answer any question you have now or during dinner or after, you know, this is your time. And please, I hope you do that, because I want you to be the most informed group of people about this election, because that's the only way you will not only help me, you will help yourself, and you will go out and tell the voters around the city that what is the right decision when it comes to November 7th. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Now or during the lunch?
Any question you want, everything. Yes, sir.
I got 2 questions.
Yeah.
Last November, there was an election for county judge, Mueller against Hidalgo. The election was corrupt for a number of reasons, but the biggest problem was that the heavily laden Republican areas were shorted paper ballots. And also, many of them were given less than what they actually needed from 2018. But the situation is worse than that. I worked at a precinct that was highly Democratic. We only used like 48% of the ballots allotted to us. But a friend of mine worked in another highly Democratic area, and they had only used 56% of the ballots. And at 4 o'clock, somebody from Harris County showed up and said, "Here's more ballots for you." We didn't call you. We don't need these. They were forced to take 2,000 extra ballots. So not only did they not ship enough ballots to Republican locations, they shipped the ballots to the Democratic locations that didn't actually need them. So the election was rigged and it was corrupt. So, I know there's many lawsuits going on, so my question is, what is your campaign going to do to assure this doesn't happen again? And my second question is, does the governor, Abbott, did he have the right to call for a new election? Now, he spoke a big story. We're going to do an investigation. We're going to get all the answers, but nothing happened. So my question to you, if you can answer it, could Abbott have called a new election, or is he just another rhino that just talks the big story and does nothing? Thank you.
Election integrity is really the key for a successful democracy. If we cannot count all the votes properly, then we are just, really going downhill democratically. Now, I think some of the party leaders are doing a lot of, discussions about it. I had a lot of talk with Cindy Siegel. I think she's recruiting a lot of volunteers to be the election judges and election poll watchers. I think there was enough light shed on this issue with all this lawsuit going on, and I hope that it turns out to be better for at least the judge who is fighting for it, that this will not happen. But look, we cannot take it for granted. We cannot assume that the same kind of problem they came up with last time will not happen again, or they will not come up with new tactics. Okay, so we have to be on our toes, and we have to make sure that our poll watchers are there, and any kind of issue we should have group of lawyers and party leaders all standing in to take care of it. Russ, you want to add something to it?
So Friday, I spent 2 hours at the first trial giving my testimony on this issue, and they were not happy with me. So anyway, I'm going to be testifying again tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. It comes down to the issue that you brought up of ballot paper being undersupplied to 121 locations, predominantly 111 out of that 121 were in traditional Republican zones. And so Senate Bill 1750, which was proposed by Senator Paul Bettencourt, has passed. It's been signed by Governor Abbott, and so therefore, come September, the election administrator, Clifford Tatum, will no longer be in that position. It will revert from basically the county commissioner's control back to an elected official. There's still 20 more lawsuits besides the one that I'm involved with right now. And so there's a lot of action being taken on that issue, plus there was 19,000 additional votes that should not have been counted. They were illegal ballots, and so this whole thing has been death by 1,000 cuts. It's just a little cheating here, a little cheating there, and any one of them taken by themselves may not have been enough to win an election for the opposition. But as a collective group like that, it's pretty devastating. There's no way to prove something that did not happen, okay? So if somebody did not vote, there's no way to prove what was going to happen. But based off of mathematical trend lines, I estimate that it was about a minimum of 32,000 votes that were lost, tampered with. And so, yes, it's substantial cheating. This has been an ongoing problem for a long time. With Isabel Longoria losing those 10,000 votes that suddenly reappeared after, they were challenged. It's a slow-moving train wreck. Everybody can see what's happening. And if we don't have people that stand up and challenge this, if we just,
contenders, right? But also a couple of them with, the big name recognition. Do you kind of have a strategy for how maybe you can, win or
Yes.
prevail over them? And
Yes.
if so, could you kind of share your
Yes.
thinking and so forth?
Look, like I said, just a month or so ago before they did the poll, so we did not do any campaigning, but now we are ratcheting it up. We are doing a whole lot of social media. By the way, all of you should be getting an email from our campaign, by tomorrow or something, right? And so we are reaching out to first wave is all the Republican voters. We are reaching out to them and asking them, giving them our platform, giving them our positions, and exactly how I want to solve some of the problems. So that's going to happen in next couple of days, starting tomorrow, and then we're going to expand that list more and more and more. And we have our very clear strategy. But strategy is this, okay? We have to reach out to our base, our conservative base, number one. Secondly, we have to reach out to independents who are leaning conservatives. So we have that group, we are reaching out to them. And then, look, I am a candidate, unlike any other candidate, who has a lot of crossover appeal. I represented Southwest Houston District F, which is the most diverse district in the city. So there are Hispanics people in Gulfton who are my supporter, and they are working hard to get votes out for me. There are Asian people. I'm being the only Asian also. I guess that's my national constituency. Plus, we identified just the current list, over 6,000 Islamic voters, which were nobody is tapping them out, and I think that is easily something I can go. So and there are at least another 15 to 20,000 Muslim voters whom we need to get registered and get them out. So, and like Bill said, there are 5 candidates going to fight for all the Democratic votes. Okay. Now, of course, if there are other Republican candidates, then we have to, but I never speak against Republican candidates. Even if there is another Republican candidate, I will say thank you, hats off to you, let's join in, and so we will not be fighting with each other, that's for sure. We will be competing with each other with ideas and the platform. But I believe if our Republican base shows up and vote and don't settle for best of the worst, we will win. But if we give up, easiest way to lose is not to play. So the worst thing we can do is, oh man, Republicans can win this city, let's go for this candidate because he can only do this and he can only beat this. And that's a defeatist attitude. I don't buy that. I say we have to fight. Now, runoff, when it comes to runoff, we will decide whatever it happens, hopefully, God willing, I will be in the runoff, and whoever is my opponent, they will have a worst time. I will win hands down, I can assure you that. But, if that's not meant to be, then we can make our decision in the runoff. But in the general election, we have no choice but to stand with our candidates. Same goes for our city council candidates. Same goes for our controllers candidate. We cannot settle for best of the worst in any election when we have our own conservative candidates standing there.
Bill 1750 passed the Senate in the last legislative session. There was another bill in the session before that would also help election integrity. And one of MJ's opponents, Senator John Whitmire, left the state. He left the state and took all of his Democrat friends with him so that bill could not advance in the session. Okay, that's number one. Number two is when Senate Bill 1750 came up for vote, he voted against it every single time. He voted against it on 3 readings, and then when they came to the House had a little bit different version, and there was a conference committee approval, he voted against that. So all these Republicans and who are precinct chairs who are saying, well, we're going to vote for John Whitmire. I mean, what are you talking about? How can you vote for a guy or support a guy who opposes everything you stand for? Okay, and so there's some other legislation that he opposed that I think.
The drag queen.
Yeah, well, yeah, the Senate Bill 12. Senate Bill 12 says that you can no longer have sexually explicit presentations in our schools. Okay, it's I call it the drag queen or the drag queen law, and so he voted against that too. Okay, so John Whitmire is not a conservative, and when it comes time to stand up and support the drag queen legislation, when it comes up to support our county trying to eliminate all this voter fraud, he's not gonna support that because he can't afford to. He'll make all the Democrats angry. He's a Democrat. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay.
I just want to ask something on a little bit different level. What's happening right now is that the nation's policy toward the CO2 nonsense is a very serious threat to the oil and gas industry, which is what is the heart and blood of this city. And what I'd like to know is how can a city, a leadership, impact that so that we can stop it? I mean, I know there's a lot of people that know that the CO2 thing is nonsense.
Right.
And they've got the scientific facts, but we've got to get it out so this thing can be stopped.
video guy, give me your name and your precinct again.
My name Peter Bowen, precinct 425.
Peter Bowen, precinct 425. This is an excellent code. Look, folks, if you don't know that, I'm in oil and gas business. We do fracking, okay, and we do it safely. Okay, the state of Texas has a history of promoting oil and gas, and we do it in a safe manner. Yes, the alternate form of power generation has a place, but the technology is not at that level of development that we can start doing away with oil and gas. It's not going to happen. Okay, and by the way, you should have seen some of the presentation by, I think there's an engineer who came to our SD17 meeting. She gave a very good presentation about how this CO2 and all that is. But as a city of Houston, my vision is to attract more businesses to the city. By the way, Houston is more well known internationally than sometimes we feel around the country. Some people in Northeast think we still have cowboys running and chasing, a buffalo. That's not the case. Internationally, everybody knows that Houston is the space city, is the energy capital of the world. We need to enhance that. We need to attract more businesses. And we can only do that when we can make Houston business friendly. Right now, a lot of people are moving to the state of Texas. A lot of companies are moving to the state of Texas. The state of Texas is bursting with revenues, right? Why city of Houston is going down? Why? Because we are not business friendly city. That has to change, and that's not just for the benefit of the business people. Business people, if you are not good for them, they will go to some other location and start there. It is a benefit to our citizens. We need to expand the employment base. All these people who want a handout from the Harris County, just giving handout and all that, I'm opposed to that kind of philosophy, okay? I believe that we should expand the employment base, have those people find meaningful employment, or start their own businesses. One of the things I want to do is have a private public partnership where we start a microcredit program for these people who are really struggling and want to start some small business. Have microcredit program. Get them involved into businesses and making money. Let them be the CEO of their lawn mowing business or be CEO of their barber shop, whatever. That's what I want to do. I want to make Houston business friendly, and we cannot do it if we are against oil and gas and value the oil and gas which is bring to this economy of our society.
Bill Berkline, Precinct 489. You mentioned about getting more police for law enforcement and our crime problem. But as I pay attention, it seems to me the biggest part of it is the district attorneys who are letting these people go right away. They're not doing their job, and those are district attorneys that are left-wing minded. Also, the judges, and of course there is problems that we had this last election where we should have taken back a lot of the judges and got our dockets cleaned up. But can you address that? What can be done about the district attorneys?
Okay, excellent point, and I hope that we all get on the same page on that, because it's very crucial. Look, we are part of the city of Houston, but we have to live with the county, we have to live with the school system, we have to make sure our school system is the best because that attracts businesses, that attracts people. We sure our county is working in the same way, in the same direction, on the same page. Now, one thing I can tell you, that I will be working hard to elect conservative judges next election cycle, bar none. I know that 40,000 Asian voters who are not voting for Republican in last election cycle will darn well vote for Republican. When I go and campaign to them and tell them what is good for you and what is good for this city, what is good for the county, come on board and vote conservative because that will be the best thing for our city and our region. So that's one thing I will. And I tell you one thing, no other candidate. There are 5 other very good candidates. Like I said, I respect all. None of them will stand for that. None of them will help you elect the conservative judges. And the same cycle will continue to go on. And the same problem will continue to exasperate and become bad to worse. So we need to change direction. And we can do it. Folks, don't underestimate your power. Don't underestimate the power you have and the number of votes you have. Bring those people out. If we take City of Houston election this year between me and other fine candidates running for city council and controller, you bet we can make Harris County red again next time election cycle. And that is one of my goals.